All right, everyone, in this video, we're going to see the second reaction for lesson 92. This is going to be the reaction between copper 2 sulfate, which we can see here is a clear blue solution, so write down those observations, and sodium hydroxide, which is another clear colorless solution. Similar to what we did for the first demonstration, we're going to add different ratios of both reactants to these 5 test tubes, test tube 6 through test tube 10. And we're going to observe to see what happens for a precipitation reaction here to try and figure out the best ratio. Again, our total number of drops in each test tube will be equal to 24. Test tube 6 is going to get 4 drops of our copper solution. Test tube 7 is going to get 8. Test tube 8 is going to get 12. Test tube 9 is going to get 16. And test tube 10 is going to get 20. Now we're going to add sodium hydroxide so that each test tube ends up with 24 drops. And again, I want you to write down observations that you notice of any sign of a reaction as soon as we mix the 2 solutions. So test tube 6 will receive 20 drops of sodium hydroxide. Test tube 7 will receive 16. Test tube 8 will receive 12. Test tube 9 will receive 8. And test tube 10 will receive 4. So what we should notice now is that we have what appears to be, I missed a drop in each one of those. It looks like we have a blue precipitate forming in each test tube. So again, write down your observations. And what we are noticing here is that this is a fine precipitate. Again, this will take approximately 10 minutes to settle. So we're going to let this sit for a moment, then we're going to look at ones that I've already prepared. So if we look at some that have already been sitting, we can compare the amount of precipitate in each one. So we can see that test tube 10 and 9 formed a little precipitate that is staying suspended at the top. Test tube 8 is forming a bit more precipitate. Test tube 6 has finished settling completely. But test tube 7 has not finished settling yet, and if we zoom in on test tube 7, we might be able to see some small amounts of precipitate still falling. So we can see here that test tube 7 has produced the most precipitate. So with that in mind, go and answer the lab questions, figure out the ratio of each reactant in each test tube, and then determine which ratio produced the most precipitate.